Sir Keir Starmer, the man who told us that the EDL were responsible for coordinated far-right attacks on British society. The EDL, by the way, was wound up well over 10 years ago, and the promised attacks have not happened. Sir Keir Starmer, the man who said that all that existed and was happening, has also told us that two-tier policing does not exist. It's a non-issue as far as he's concerned. The police act without fear or favour, a mantra that has been repeated by several Labour ministers. Anyway, we've all got to believe Sir Keir because he always tells us the truth, doesn't he? I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. So let's compare a couple of instances here. There's this rioter who shouted at a police dog. He was jailed for 20 months. There's this case, which I've spoken about quite a lot, a 53-year-old woman who is the carer for her much older husband. She's been sent to jail for 15 months. And that's because she said something hot-headed and not very nice on Facebook. I'm not condoning what she said. Whether it deserves 15 months in jail is what I'm talking about. And this driver, a retired train driver, who jabbed a finger at police and shouted, "Who the F is Allah?" In my opinion, he has a perfect right to do both. He has been jailed for how long? He's a far-right thug, by the way. A far-right thug who is the primary carer for his disabled wife. That's important for what I'm going to be telling you next. But meanwhile, to the My London News, he is a far-right thug. This is his sin. Who the F is Allah? He's been jailed for 18 months. Now, you may wonder, well, is insulting people worthy of being in jail? How about... Now, I have to be a bit careful about my wording here. It's not me, it's YouTube. And since I get most of my paltry income from YouTube, please forgive me for being careful. How about interfering with an 11-year-old girl? Of course, at marriageable age in some religions. Here we have an Islamic teacher, oh dear, who sexually abused a girl, 11 years old, and was spared jail because his wife doesn't speak English. That is, he was taken to be the carer of his wife because she didn't speak English. Why didn't she speak English? Why did he not send his wife to school to learn English? That's another matter. But it turned out to be a good move on his part because he was spared jail because of that. I'm not going to describe what he did to the girl, but he was definitely not acting in her best interests. And this was in 2014. That is 10 years ago. So it's no use saying that this government are the only ones responsible for it. This was under a Conservative government. Any government that has just come in that has the best interests of the British people at heart would have done something about this uneven judgment. But apparently, from the man who reckons that not all women have a cervix, two-tier policing is a non-issue. It's interesting that Keir Starmer is from a legal background, because David Starkey said that what's happened to the British legal system over the past few years is that the barristers in barristers' chambers, they decide on who's going to be taken into their chambers, and bit by bit, as they've developed more leftward attitudes, so their intake has become more leftward as well. It appears to be very much like what happened to the BBC, and that's the most depressing thing about it, because as the legal system gets more and more left, it is taking on more of the aspects that we see are so wrong with the BBC. That's something to think about, isn't it? Well, you can think about that till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.